Hello and welcome to our introduction to the basic setup of joints. Today we want to learn what distinguishes the different forms of bone connections and what the architecture of a real joint looks like. This knowledge will help us to better understand the upcoming chapters when we want to talk about pathologies and diseases in the different joints. As we have already established, by creating flexible connections in between the different bones, joints offer the possibility to move. But when we talk about joints in this sense, however, we actually talk about real joints, or anatomically speaking, articulationes synoviales. There are, depending on the filling of a gap in between the different bones, also other forms of bone connections that we should keep in mind. For example, the fibrocartilaginous connection of a pelvic symphysis, or the bone sutures that interconnect the different parts of the skull. Although they lack in their degree of freedom compared to a real joint, these structures still count as bone connections. Despite the significant differences in the appearance of real joints, considering for example the number of involved bones, the shape of the articular surface or the degree of movement, the primary structure of all real joints is very similar.
All real joints are surrounded by a capsule, which is comprised of different layers with different tasks. The outer layer is built of rough fibered connective tissue, and its dimension strongly correlates with the mechanical stress of an individual joint. While its primary task is the protection of a joint, it also acts as a fixation mechanism, which is usually supported by additional ligaments. While damages of a joint capsule usually heal very slowly, caused by the lack of blood vessels in this region, injuries of the structures are very painful due to the high supply of nerve endings. In the inner layer of the capsule, we find the cells that produce the synovia, a fluid that fills the complete joint cavity created by the capsule and acts as lubricant for the joint, and also contains nutriments such as sugars, salts and enzymes for the articular cartilage. The articular cartilage is tightly attached to the calcified epiphysis of the bone. In contrast to other cartilaginous structures in the body, it is not covered by the so-called perichondrium, but has a smooth surface towards the articular cavity. The thickness of the cartilage can differ according to the shape of the bone, and especially in ungulates, the cartilaginous borders can recede to create synovial pits or so-called fossae synoviales, which are not pathological. The microscopic alignment of the cells and the connective tissue within the cartilage is predefined by the affecting pressure and tensile forces. Although the surface of this cartilage feels hard to the touch, it is capable of absorbing shocks through its viscoelasticity and deformability.
Apart from this basic schematic of a real joint, the architecture in the different regions of a body can vary distinctly. Detailed information about the individual joints, their biomechanics and diseases will be presented in the individual special anatomy section. This concludes our chapter on the basic setup of joints. Thank you for your interest and attention.